Hello and welcome to the Watering Hole. Thanks for checking out this clip. Don't forget to like and subscribe because that'll make the baby Jesus cry, and I know how much you guys love making the baby Jesus cry. Next article is, I don't want to say more on the light side, but a Catholic school expelled a boy to retaliate against his outspoken mother.
What?
This comes to us from Hemant Mehta on friendlyatheist.com. Great source of religious and atheist-themed news. But yeah, so first off, I would start by saying that, like, the kid's probably going to get a better education not in a Catholic school than in a Catholic school, probably, depending on what state they're in. Well, Missouri, so maybe not. I don't know. But, like, you know, all else being equal, I'd rather my kids not go to Catholic school. However, parents have the choice to send their kids to Catholic school. That's freedom of choice sort of thing. And apparently the Catholic schools have the freedom of choice to expel students for no good reason. So this kid was recently kicked out of 6th grade because his parents made the mistake of challenging Catholic doctrine. But Principal Susan Martin gave the whole situation prayerful consideration before unleashing her wrath on the family of an A student with good manners whose parents work closely with the parish. So, like, these are...
Prayerful consideration is just, I deliberated over it in my bathroom for a second.
I thought about it, and it turned out that the omnipotent creator of the universe agreed with me, as he always does. Funny how that works.
Yeah.
God always seems to give you the answer that you want when you pray. So, he's being expelled because his parents, Paul and Holly Mueller, have stated both verbally and in writing that they do not agree with, nor do they support the teachings of the Catholic Church. So, what teachings don't they support? Okay, well... Before we get into that, the Mullers are mainstays of the parish at the school, where they are volunteer basketball and track coaches. They run Tuesday night open gyms for the kids. They volunteer to do a lot of things that other parents won't do. So, like, these are very active members of the community who are doing a lot of things that need doing. So, like, what did they say? Like, because they're devout Catholics. What did they say?
What specific things do the Catholic Church teach that they do not believe in here?
But also, notably, the people that broke the story originally, they spoke to four other parents aside from this couple that all wanted to remain anonymous because they were afraid that their kids might get expelled if they put their names to this. So, like, that's great.
That feels like just straight up authoritarian coercion.
So the father of this kid attended the school when he was a kid, as did his 15 siblings. Yay, Catholicism.
Jesus fucking Christ. Put on a condom.
Yes. Or get a vasectomy, man. Best choice I ever made.
At a certain point, it's time to be done. You have spread your seed. It's time to stop.
Yeah, I have 3 kids of my own and 2 kids of my partner's. 5 is a lot. I can't imagine multiplying that by 3.
At 16...
just, no.
At 16 kids, nobody's having a childhood anymore. What they're having is to help you raise the other kids.
And so... Well, yeah, like, I use my daughter to help with the youngest, to help with my partner's kids, because she is old enough that she can babysit and stuff like that, and they absolutely adore her. So it's like, sometimes they listen to my daughter when they won't listen to me. And it's kind of rough because her kids are close enough together in age that, like, they're at the same kind of developmental stage where they'll, like, they get into these feedback loops with each other. Of like, this was one of the things I kind of struggled with is when we first got together. Like, her kids are very, very like, and I'm like, my kids were never like that. What's wrong with your kids? But then, as it turns out, it's like eventually I figured it out. It's like, no, it's not that something's wrong with your kids. It's that your kids are in the stage, like, they're in the same stage of development at the same time, where, like, they're both asking why about everything. And so when one asks why, the other is asking why to their why, and that feeds back on itself and gets bigger and expands. Like they're both in the stage where they're learning, they're playing with lies, which is a normal part of childhood development. So like, and they are both in this thing where they're feeding back off of each other. He hit me. No, he hit me. No, he started it. No, he started it. And it grows. And it took me a while to figure out that that's what was happening there, that it's not that there's something wrong with her kids. It's just that they're so close in age that that feedback loop kind of happens. So imagine that happening with like 4 or 5 kids in a row that like, you know, they're not all in the same feedback loops, but like the 5-year-old and the 4-year-old in the same feedback loops, and the 4-year-old and the 3-year-old are in the same ones, and the 3-year-old and the 2-year-old, et cetera, et cetera.
That
and
would just drive me insane.
My God, it would be a nightmare.
I would not be able to think straight.
I'm already not able to think straight, man. Like,
I hear
she and her kids have been gone for the week, and I miss them. I really do. 'Cause her kids are great. I'm making it sound like I don't like them. I do. They're like, the youngest is absolutely fucking adorable. It's actually a bit of a problem because it's hard to stay mad at him when it's hard to discipline him when he's got this adorable little smile that just melts your heart. And they can be so sweet to each other sometimes too. Like, yeah, there's the feedback where they're getting negative feedback or whatever, but sometimes they're playing together and everything is just adorable and fucking sweet and cute. And it's like, oh, that's amazing. And I understand the feeling of wanting more kids, but then I immediately realize that that's a terrible idea. And I'm glad that I had a vasectomy.
You have the feeling of wanting more kids, and then you have the realization that you like sleep.
Yes. Well, that's because that's what I was getting at, is that her and her kids have been gone. My kids are at the age where they're like, the longer I let dad sleep, the longer I can get away with watching TV without him coming down and telling me to do chores. So like they have learned to let me sleep because they get to do more of what they want to do if I get to sleep. So,
and now that you've said it on a stream that is public access that they can look at, they now have the cheat code.
That's fine. I'm okay with that.
You get sleep out of it.
It's a win-win. But like her kids are still young enough that like their default reaction in the morning when they wake up is to come and snuggle with mommy, and they wake up at like 5 a.m. So like I am well rested. Like despite all the work that I've been doing that I think I told you about off air with like like I've been organizing the basement, basically cleaning the basement. Just like I've been working during the day on my videos, and then I've been working all night on like moving shit around the house. So like even all that into consideration, like it's more work than I usually do in a day. I'm still more well rested than I have been before, and I would be willing to bet that she is not.
You're doing more, but you're sleeping more.
Because I'm doing more, but I'm sleeping more, and she's still with the kids that get up at 5 a.m.
Yep.
Do kids tend to watch their parents' live streams? My kids do not. Apparently, one of my kids' friends watches my channel, and that makes me uncomfortable because he's 10. His friend is like 11 at most. My stuff's not appropriate for an 11-year-old.
What are you talking about for YouTube legal reasons? Everything's fine.
No, it's not. I mark it as not made for kids. Like, I mean, it's not terrible, like, but like, I make enough jokes about like, I don't know, Jesus fucking himself in the ass and calling it Jesus fucking Christ. You remember that one?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to show that meme to my 10-year-old.
Fair.
Now, my daughter's old enough that like she's seen stuff like that. Like her friends have shown her crap like that before. So I'm not going to be the one to show it to her. But if I knew that she had seen it, it wouldn't upset me. But like my younger ones are like, no, that's borderline for them. They need to wait a little bit. Anyway, so what did these people do to criticize the Catholic Church? So, Holly criticizes the short-sighted actions of Father Sean McCaffrey, the new leader of the church that oversees the school, in her role as vice president of the school's advisory board. So she's vice president of the school advisory board. These people are very involved. So he started removing any books that had LGBTQ characters or humanize those relationships from the school library. And Holly said, I don't think being blatantly homophobic is a teaching of the Catholic Church, which is incorrect. However,
it is.
Yeah, that is a teaching of the Catholic Church, but most Catholics are against that teaching. So like, that's what they mean by short-sighted. So McCaffrey apparently banned the use of language. He banned the use of Duolingo because it would translate words like gay and lesbian.
What?
Yeah.
What? Those are words you're going to have to say as an adult. You can't just like pretend they don't exist forever.
Yep. Now I don't normally condone of making fun of people's appearances, because like that's just a low blow. But that being said, does this guy not look like inbred Sam Gamgee? Like he looks like Sean Astin, but his eyes are way too close together and not like lined up properly.
Sam, are you talking Sam from Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, like Sean Astin, the guy who plays Sam Gamgee in the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah.
He looks like him, but inbred. Like severely inbred.
You know, I don't see it.
It's but the then Satan again, Spanish owl.
So I don't see it, but I'm having a hard time imagining the actor who played Sam, because ironically, Magic the Gathering just did a thing with Lord of the Rings. So when I think of Samwise, I'm thinking of the artworks of Sam that I'm used to seeing now, and not the actor who played him.
He's not as fat as I remember him.
It was mostly the cloak.
Yeah.
Like the cloak and camera angles did most of the work in convincing you that hobbits were actually small.
Yeah,
and rotund.
Well, yeah, okay, but like no, he put on weight for the movie. But also like this is Sean Astin we're talking about. He was the Goonie that did the belly dance thing. The truffle shuffle, that's what it was called.
The belly dance thing?
The belly dance thing. He did the truffle shuffle. But like does he not look a little bit like Sean Astin, but like if he were more inbred?
See it.
Yeah.
I can see it. We just need to get a little bit more Alabama in there, and we got it.
Oh yeah, he banned the CNN 10 Kids app because CNN is too liberal for them. But he said the idea that language app violates the Catholic Church doctrine because it translates gay and lesbian, presumably without demonizing the concept, also means that dictionaries would be forbidden because they have the words gay and lesbian in there without demonizing them. So at some point, this just goes from promoting bigotry to denying students an education. Yeah. Apparently, there was an incident at the school where a teacher said that girls shouldn't wear leggings because it said that they were whores. If you wear leggings, you're a whore.
Can you imagine just calling?
This is an elementary school, so like like the 6th grader got expelled. This isn't high school. This isn't 16, 17, 18-year-old girl. This is like elementary school girls.
It's the adult's fault for looking at them that way. 100% age range.
Yeah. Well, no, that
to be fair,
it implies
it's always that age range, though.
Yeah. So Holly sent an email to the school administrators urging them to teach boys to respect women, that girls shouldn't be made to feel responsible for how they're treated because of what they wear. I support that. That's a good thing to say.
Good thing.
That is good. And this is one of the things that caused her kid to be expelled because she disagrees with the Catholic Church. So the school requires all families to sign a covenant saying they support church teaching in the school. The Mullers were fine with that. None of their criticisms violated the letter of the law. Because there's nothing in the Catholic Church's rulebook that requires members to blame women for their attire and dismiss the very idea of same-sex couples. Like, yeah, because like, yeah, you might not agree that they should be married, but that doesn't mean they don't exist. Okay. And then we get to like 56% of U.S. Catholics support abortion rights, 70% believe that homosexuality should be accepted, and 37% accept trans identities. Not really surprising that the trans thing is a lot lower than the other two, but
Give it a decade.
That's still not insignificant. So what they're saying is if Catholic leaders kicked out people who disagreed with the Vatican's views, the pews would be even emptier than they are now. And so, like, Holly is someone who works in the church. She volunteers for them a lot. Presumably, she accepts its beliefs, even if she disagrees with some of them. And she pointed out in the mission statement, it says all members of our community are accepted for who they are. So, like, discriminating against LGBTQ people doesn't fit with that mission statement.
I'm getting flashbacks from PCA. I'm getting a lot of PCA flashbacks here, Rhino.
Yeah. Yeah, and so, as some people pointed out, there are parents at the school who are divorced or remarried or don't regularly attend Mass or who use birth control, etc. Those are all things that the Catholic Church frowns upon, but none of their kids got expelled for it.
Nope, they get expelled because...
According to the Catholic Church, those are worse sins than just, like, raising your hand and being like, hey, maybe treat everybody nicely?
Rhino, if we ever get the ability to time travel, and the kind of time travel that, like, ages you appropriately to the time you go to, do you want to just, like, sneak your way into a Catholic school as a kid and just disrupt decorum constantly?
Yeah, my first thought was, like, stand up on my desk and whip my dick out, but then I'm like, the priest would probably like that.
There's nothing in the catechism that says that I cannot partake.
Okay, anyway, the message that they've been sending to the public through this sort of action is criticize the church all you want. They seem just stop annoying us. So, like, you're allowed to disagree with the church. You're just not allowed to do so publicly. You're not allowed to send them emails explaining your disagreement. You're not allowed to suggest that maybe, heaven forbid, they actually, like, catch up with the times a little.
But see, now you're asking the all-powerful, almighty, all-knowing God to change. And he would never, ever, ever do that, except when he did between the New Testament and the Old Testament. That's different.
Yeah, God doesn't change except for the time that Moses changed his mind about how many of the Israelites he was going to kill when they made the golden calf on Mount Sinai. And he doesn't change except for the time that Abraham got him to change his mind about exterminating all of Sodom and bargained him down from finding 50 righteous people to finding 10. And he still ended up killing all of Sodom, but they got Lot out, who was the righteous one, because he offered his daughters up for gang rape.
And then his daughters got revenge on him. Not really.
Would we say revenge?
I would not say revenge, but it's...
There were no men, so they had to impregnate themselves by getting their father drunk and raping him. That was the righteous family.
The Bible, and that's in the first book of the Bible.
Yeah.
The Bible's for kids.
Yeah, I think Utah was right for banning it from their schools. Was it Utah? I think it was Utah.
I don't think it was Utah, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, so anyways, what Hemmant concludes is that this is a horrible strategic move. It's going to scare off other families who are far more likely to agree with the Mullers than the church on issues like basic human decency and not calling girls who wear leggings whores, especially middle school girls, and give prospective families a reason to look elsewhere when deciding where to send their kids. So, like, behaving like this is not going to help them long term. And, like...
Yeah.
Christianity is currently bleeding. Like, the only reason Christianity is still growing is through the indoctrination of kids that are born into Christian households. Like, they are bleeding members to people deconverting like you would, like, more than any other religion in the world.
I mean, this is one of the reasons why Matt Walsh is so gung-ho. And I think most of the religious fanatic pundit types, I think one of the reasons why they are so concerned with people's birth rates and breeding and everything
is because that's the only way, that's the only thing keeping their religion alive.
They replace their numbers. They replace their numbers that way, and that's it.